Hi, everyone. It's been a while again. I have to say sorry because depending on which video you watch first, you might not know why we were not here. But if you're watching this video first, then watch the other one to get a full
If you
explanation.
care.
Yeah, if you can.
You don't have
that
to.
matters, you know. But whilst we were on our little break, you guys weren't.
And you made us know.
We know. And a lot of people were still very much interacting and engaging with our content.
Which we love.
Yeah, definitely. Love it. Keep it going. But there was this one particular person who commented, and they said some interesting things that had us thinking. So, what this person basically said was that they think ace and non ace people can't be together.
Because it wouldn't work out for like obvious reasons, and because also they have never seen it before, even though they were looking at us who
Right.
are the thing they've never seen before.
And not to say that, this combination always works, but to say that because you personally have never seen or experienced this combination of orientations does not mean that it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
right?
or it doesn't work out, so it got us thinking and looking into people that have different orientations and are in relationships, because even us, we hadn't seen a lot of people who are in mixed orientation relationships.
Like, besides being ace and non-ace, I'm also bi and she's a lesbian.
And we know that discourse. So that's what this video is about. It's about looking into moms, which are mixed orientation marriages, and Moors, which are mixed orientation relationships. And because that's too long to say, we'll be referring to them as moms and Moors from now on.
Wow. I may be a lesbian, but there's nothing like the love of a good man.
That's my girl.
Okay, so moms, mixed orientation marriages is when people that are of different orientations get married or committed or whatever.
In
Right, in a relationship. There we go. She's the smart one in this relationship, clearly. Right, so we're talking straight people with bi people, with gay people, lesbians with gay men, etc. It gets interesting. And we're not saying like these people are pansexual and then they get together with someone, but they literally like a lesbian marrying a gay man.
Yeah.
These things happen, and a rich history actually exists in religion when it comes to moms and Moors. And it reminds me of the show on TLC. It wasn't even a show, if we're being honest. It got cancelled because controversy.
The president and CEO of GLAAD has called the show irresponsible, saying no one can change who they love, and more importantly, no one should have to. By investing in this dangerous programming, TLC is putting countless young LGBT people in harm's way.
But basically, it was about, what was it called? My husband's not gay. My husband's not gay.
My husband's not gay.
Okay, they should change the title then.
So,
'cause-
no. The reason why they were like, my husband is not gay is because they don't identify as gay, right? But they acknowledge that they have same-sex attraction.
Yeah.
My sexuality isn't a choice. I agree with that. My faith isn't a choice either. This is a deep, deep part of me that's very important to me. So my challenge is to reconcile this, and I feel like I've been able to do that.
So in a way, it kind of deals with one's sexuality as like, well, a sin, like something separate from the body, and so you often hear them say things like, "Oh, I'm not gay, I'm Christian," as if these are two conflicting identities.
Yeah, or if they see someone they're attracted to, they'd be like, "Oh, there's a temptation, like I'm being tempted."
The danger scale goes from 0 to 4. A 1 on the danger scale is you notice, you look.
4 pretty much means you're requiring restraints.
So it's kind of like a sin, kind of like they're putting themselves on a restrictive diet.
An analogy I could use is I love donuts. I mean, I would eat donuts 3 times a day, but I desire to be able to fit in my pants in the morning too.
To be like,
does
oh,
sound
what's
like
good
that.
for me is, punani, not the pee-pee.
No, it won't be that. It'll be they don't say that. They don't say that they're not gay because they have to be straight to be Christian.
Yeah.
They say that they're what's good for them is the Lord.
Yes,
so they're
and the Lord
choosing
wants
God.
them to be with someone of the opposite sex.
That's not what they say.
It is.
The only acceptable expression of sexuality and romantic feelings is within a marriage between a man and a woman.
No, they say that the Lord wants them to live a Christian life. They don't say
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that they have to be with women. It just means that they mustn't be with the same sex.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Your husband is sitting next to you talking about his attraction to men. How does that make you feel?
I'm attracted to men too.
Which I guess it's a bit more progressive than back in the day with Team Exodus.
Yes.
We were the leaders of the ex-gay movement.
Team Exodus was the original, I think, Christian group in America that focused on conversion therapy.
Yeah.
And their main stitch was just find someone of the opposite sex to be with.
I was active in the gay community for 13 years.
I was in it for 6 years, then struggled for 5 years before finding true freedom.
It was 13 years for me.
4 for me. We both walked away from it.
I personally came out of the homosexual lifestyle.
And we're just saying that if you want to change, there is a way to do it.
You know, God wants you to live a holy life, and that means you have to do things, you know, for the Lord. So your attraction isn't something that pleases the Lord, so you must go for what pleases the Lord, basically. And they really had this thing of you can pray away the gay.
Learning about a program called Exodus, which claims to convert gays.
We were promoting an idealized version of life. Gay people could be saved.
Right? You can watch the whole documentary on Netflix. After like 3 decades of running, they realized that, oh my gosh, we're actually causing damage. This was after they did the most. They were passionate about their movement until they started having like physical breakdowns over what they had done to the community. And so they stopped. I have problems with that because I don't think they should have stopped. They should have done extra work to undo the damage they caused, right? Because right now other people, other movements have picked up the mantle, and now they're going forth with this idea that you can pray away the gay.
There are new people taking up the torch.
I live transgender, and I left everything, follow the Lord.
Jesus, take this away from me.
There's so much shame.
We're killing ourselves by not embracing who God created us to be.
You're not a gay person who fights with yourself every day.
Right.
You good?
Yeah,
You're
no,
not good at all.
I'm not good at all. I actually didn't realize how much this this thing affects me. But we will push through.
But the point is that there is a history of these types of relationships in religion
Yeah.
and in the media, as a lot of portrayal is of like gay men secretly on the DL.
Are you gay?
How you gonna ask me a question like that?
How do you marry a woman and then turn around and let a man bend you over?
Ain't nobody bending me over.
Oh, so you doing the bending?
So the general idea is that people get into moms and mores because of God, or to not embarrass their parents, or
Internalized homophobia.
all these things. But then when we were researching this video, we actually found there's a lot of other reasons that people get into healthier mixed orientation marriages.
And one of those reasons is love.
You know, before when I said I loved you, I really, really meant that. I do love you. You know, you're the best. I can't imagine my life without you.
Well, now you never have to worry about that.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm feeling a little lightheaded. See, there's this one teensy little complication. Actually, not so teensy.
Are you
I'm
hungry?
Gay. What?
Are you
I'm
hungry?
gay.
What?
I'm gay. I'm gay.
So whilst we were reading, I came across this very lovely article about a lesbian who married a gay man, right? And it was so interesting because I never really thought about that, like in any sense of like, oh, we're getting married. And one reason I would think that people would get married like this is because of like safety, like, you know, coming together as a gay man and a lesbian and being like, okay, we have to conform to the society
Yeah,
and
beards and
pretend
stuff.
to be in a heterosexual couple, in a heterosexual relationship, but still do our own things. But that wasn't necessarily the case with this one, because the two people were actually in love with each other, right? And it's a sad story because he dies very early on, but this lesbian person really loved their partner. And I thought that was very beautiful to see because I never really see that a lot.
There are other examples of a lesbian who marries a straight man, you know, and with a lot of it, there's a lot of battle inside about I don't know, is it what's the opposite of homophobia? Like internalized. No, because they acknowledge their orientations, you know, they love themselves, but they feel like they would have to betray themselves in order to be in these relationships with the people they loved. You know, there was that barrier to be like, am I still a lesbian if I'm married to a man?
It took us about 3 days into the honeymoon to discover that, no, Dennis and I were definitely not bi. I was still a lesbian, and he was probably gay.
You know, so she had to work through that mental state to literally dismantle and dissect what marriage and union actually is for her, you know, and what she wanted. And she actually realized that what she can get that from this straight man, you know, and that didn't mean that she was no longer a lesbian. It just meant that she was a lesbian married to a man.
I think the semantics when it comes to like identities and labels are very like fuzzy. We have some contention in the community about how we use these labels.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you how to do that. I will just say that I will use my labels however I decide to use my labels.
Yeah.
And if that
And I think
offends you, that's okay.
But I think the queer spaces should be like a safe space for that.
Yes.
Because that's what it is. It's about dismantling the binaries of what heteronormativity has imposed upon us, right? But it feels like we're imposing it upon ourselves.
Yes.
You
It
know?
feels like that we've started seeing that we are continuing with the hegemonic beliefs of what love and what relationships should look like. Because even though, you know, we're talking about these relationships with lesbians or gay men who have fallen in love with people of the opposite sexes or genders or whatever, we are also thinking of it in a sexual manner. There's always the question of like, oh, what are they gonna do when it comes to sex?
Yeah.
And that's none of our business, right?
It isn't.
But
yeah.
But do you want to say something?
Yeah, because I just think it's funny that how when they get married, like even when you get married and exchange your vows, they like you may now kiss your partner, you know. So the it's not just we're making it up that, oh, what are they gonna do in the bedroom? It's just that if you're in a long committed relationship with someone that is a long committed intimate relationship with someone, we expect you to show affection sexually.
Marriage is not about sex. Sex is about sex. Marriage is about something more. It's about a commitment to a person, literally, as the vows say.
And that's the problem, that we only see intimate romantic relationships as
sexual romantic
relationships as the only form of intimate long-term relationships that are serious
and viable.
There's also this one person who I follow on my Instagram, who is a lesbian married to a man. I think they're a lesbian married to a man, but like they're like a late bloomer lesbian in the sense that they didn't really realize they were a lesbian until like older age, not old age, but I feel like that's weird because they're not that old.
Until later in life.
Until later, yeah, there we go. Until later in life, but they love their male partner still.
Yeah,
like their husband is still their husband. So instead of like the usual like breaking up or whatever, they decided to become nest partners. Like they share the same space, the same house, bills, happiness, joys, whatever happens through life, they're still partners and they love each other. And that hasn't changed, even though they're seeing other people, or even though they're not sexually intimate, there's still that emotional connection for them.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it was such a mind.
It was a mind fuck.
It was a mind fuck.
It was a mind fuck, you know, because I think when we're looking at the, I forgot which article it was, but when they were asking gay men who are married to women, like, why would you marry a woman when you know you're gay? And the one of the most common responses was, because I love her. I love my wife, you know, and I really had to do a lot of dismantling on what love and marriage looks like,
And intimacy.
and intimacy looks like, you know. And the funny thing is that the relationships where the partners were honest with each other about their orientations, those were fine, right? But the ones that had a hard time were like the bisexuals who weren't open about their orientation, because it's like, oh, I'm in a straight person relationship or I'm in a queer relationship, whatever, I don't have to address that I'm bisexual. Like, it's fine, it's not fine.
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to see my attraction to men as a nuisance. But
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like when you're in a relationship with someone of the same or like opposite sex, it feels like you have to kind of treat the other attraction, whatever attractions you may feel, as a nuisance or something to put away because
Or ignore.
Because one, you don't want your partner to feel insecure.
Yeah.
And two, you feel like, I don't know, sometimes it just feels like you're confused, but you're not. Like, you're not confused, you like what you like, and that's really it. But
And
it feels
that's
like
it.
I feel like the way society is set up, it feels like you have to like fit into one box.
Yeah.
But I guess what we wanted to talk about wasn't necessarily that, lesbians or gay men should be in relationships with people of the opposite sexes. The conversation, I guess, was about how we still see affection and love like in binaries. We still hold these standards for ourselves as queer people, which is really sad.
Yeah, we need to free ourselves and our minds and our hearts.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't bad reasons why people find themselves in these relationships.
Yeah.
They are. But I guess today I wanted to talk about the ways in which these relationship structures can be looked at from a different perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is us today. Hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Let us know what you'd like to talk about. What you
Yeah, it's been a while, guys.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time. Please forgive us.
Let us know how
We're
you
new to
feel.
this.
Truly, we're virgins. Let us know how you're doing in the comments down below. Like, share, and see you next time.
And let us know about what you thought about the conversation. We have links in the description box. If you want to support our channel, feel free to do so by watching or donating to our coffee. And if you have suggestions for any videos, topics, or just want to ask us weird personal questions, feel free to do so. There's a link in the bio. No, not bio.
In the description.
In the description.
Below.
Yes.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Woo.